What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Heal the Ring podcast here on the Sports Jedi Network, your YouTube channel, Rumba, Twitch, Truvo, Kick, Facebook, Truvo, and all the different platforms. Salute to everyone that can hear our voice out there on the Twitter X machine. Don't forget to follow us, like, and subscribe to our video. I am your host, the Don of the Watch Along, BX Sports Jedi Kev. What's going on, man? We're ready to review here Monday Night Raw, the June 3rd edition. Monday Night Raw, 2 weeks away before we have the International Premium Live event, Clash at the Castle. A lot of things are shaping up or heading us to that direction before we get next Monday Night Raw's go-home show. But before we kick off that Monday Night Raw show, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the video. We have to talk about the kiss that was talked about last Monday night with Dominik Mysterio and Liv Morgan. Was this done on purpose? Was it not done on purpose by the video feed in the USA Network, by the WWE truck? Back and forth. At the end of the day, it got people talking, a lot of buzz, over 40 million downloads or interaction or acknowledgement of that video, of that kiss. Some of the platforms saw it while it happened, some didn't, some were caught away. So it made the WWE universe at buzz, especially at that 11 p.m. last Monday night in a lackluster Monday Night Raw last week. But this week, it's a different story. I'm here to review it and ready to talk about it. We have this segment opening up with Liv Morgan coming out, your champion, talking about what she's doing and how she's going to take everything away from mommy. Dominik Mysterio, of course, comes out. The awkwardness between them, Dom does not want, it seems at first he's giving us the vibe he wants nothing to do with Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan, in her sultry way, backs him in the corner, of course. And by the way, I love the attention to details. She had that extra red lipstick on for Liv. Just totally right to Dominik, and out come Finn Bálor, pretty much not for a save, but to intervene, to break up that tension. And helping out a brother out in a tough situation. But here's the one thing, a caveat here to think about: the direction of the storyline. Is Finn working with Liv? That's a story. This story between the Judgment Day and Liv Morgan on her Revenge tour, they could go so many different directions, so many different angles, that whichever way it's going to be compelling storytelling, especially now here in the late spring and just about the early summer. You want to have a storyline to intrigue you, to captivate you, and they really have more than one storyline. I going to think going into the summertime that it's just must watch and must captivating. And the other one, we'll talk about it later, but this one here, they could go in so many different directions. Where does Dominik Mysterio jump or give into the temptation of the Liv Morgan and betray his mommy? Or I've said it, could it be this is where Dominik turns babyface on a babyface run with Rhea? Rhea getting a lot of crowd pop and reaction, where Dominik could turn babyface as well, where he could kind of, I know he's on his way out, is ready to retire his father, but said, my dad stuck my mother for many years, regardless of the fact that I might think he might have been a deadbeat dad and all that stuff. But he's always was with my mom, for 20 plus years. You heard my mom gave away her career. We heard it in the Hall of Fame speech. You could reference that, where he got good family value, at least husband and wife wise, where he's going to stick with his mommy and all that. He could be, that's the ultimate babyface turn for Dominik Mysterio. Or he could just be the POS and totally break Rhea's heart. Rhea goes on a binge, a hell, nothing scoring, man, a woman's broken heart tour, and break and destroy Liv, get that title, and become that dominant babyface force that Rhea Ripley could be. There's so much compelling. Or is it Finn Bálor want to break into Judgment Day, recruited Liv? Because we've seen all those vignettes, those little backstage where Dominik Mysterio comes out of a room, Liv comes out of a car, Finn talking backstage, with Finn or JD McDonough, where it could be Finn Bálor wants to take the title, break up Judgment Day, divide all the force, where it's, I help you get the women's title, and you help me get the world heavyweight title away from Damian Priest. They could be working in cahoots. There's so many compelling storylines. That's why it's so episodic with Raw, especially when you have a 3-hour show like a Monday Night Raw. You want to have those attention to details, and you have to now watch every little bit from a backstage just a backstage show before they go to commercial break. You see all those different things, all those nuanced Easter eggs, not just with the Uncle Howdy situation. It's just what everything Monday Night Raw is doing, and I love it. You know, they go in, we go into the save there, where Liv, we think she has Dominik wrapped around her finger. We will find out about that. Then we get into our first match. This first match, personally, what a way to start. It's the second segment, yes, but it's a match where you're wondering what direction WWE is going to do, but you can always tell a story in a match that won't hurt certain wrestlers. When I'm talking about Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser, in this match, I didn't expect it to be the level of hard hitting, and this was pretty much this was like a premium live event match. And good job there. And what a show they gave the people in Hershey, Pennsylvania, by the way. I believe they go once or twice a year, maybe to Hershey, Pennsylvania. Not a lot of times. They're not a venue that they use all the time. But you got Sheamus out there, the Celtic Warrior, out there with Ludwig. Ludwig trying to make a name of himself on his own. They removed him from the tag team scene, no longer with Giovanni Vinci. Now Vinci's on SmackDown. They're going with that singles route. They see singles potential in Ludwig Kaiser, although me personally, from Ludwig, I see Ludwig as a single star, but a mid-card. I don't quite see him yet there. Maybe he evolves with his heelism, he could talk on the microphone, but I don't think he's world heavyweight material in my eyes yet. That's okay, though. Like, he's making his bone, going up against a former heavyweight champion, former champion, and Sheamus, almost a Grand Slam, just missing. We all know he's missing that one title, becoming that Grand Slam champion. For Sheamus, back and forth, the hard hitting, the welts on Sheamus's chest, the moves that they put on. This was a classic premium live event match on Monday Night Raw. And those that are not going to subscribe when Raw goes to Netflix, they're giving out some good matches to intrigue you to want to think about making that change. Although we know they're getting SmackDown on Netflix, on USA, and so forth, but they're really giving you that caveat to watch that, especially again on a 4-hour show, a 3-hour show. We could say with Saturday Night, with main event an hour prior before they kick off Raw, for the crowd that's there, they put on a good show to keep people invested. And I love the back and forth, the visuals of the welts on Sheamus's chest, the near fall finishes, and the way they finished it was Kaiser kind of like didn't quite hold the ropes, but in the near rope, in a heel fashion, gets the pin, where you're like, oh, surprising. But the way they did the match, the victory, it didn't hurt Sheamus, in my opinion. Kaiser gets a much needed victory if you're going to push him, where it looks like they're gonna put a nice push on Ludwig here in the summer to Berlin. We all know the premium live event after SummerSlam is another international in Berlin. He's going to be a feature along with Gunther and so forth with the international talent. I like what they did there for Kaiser. They made importance of it. They made him feel special. They didn't make Sheamus look weak. So that's a good way of the turnbuckle rolling for the pin. It kind of protects him in that way. And the story of this match is Kaiser getting that notoriety win against a former champion, a popular wrestler, and so forth. And we can move on with that on there. What's next for Kaiser? Who's gonna get in his way backstage? We also saw in weeks prior for Sheamus. Maybe Sheamus is there to put some wrestlers over, and the young talent that is there. We saw him interact a little with Bron Breakker weeks before, but maybe they revisit that in the summer. Only time will tell on that. So we'll move on to the next match here. We have another one that I'm like, when I thought this match was going to be great, they gave us another one, another treat, in my opinion. Another premium live event treat between Dragon Lee and Finn Bálor. The only difference was I understand the LWO with Carlito wants to get into the Judgment Day. Carlito having some issues with the LWO betraying Rey Mysterio, having that, and Dominik bringing in Carlito. That's part of the whole storyline with Judgment Day and LWO, and that's where Dragon Lee and Finn Bálor comes into this. It kind of, for those that are not really, misses a week or two of Raw, thinks this is a filler throwing match, like, a matchmaker type of match. We'll put Dragon Lee and Finn Balor. It kind of felt a little bit like that. I'm not going to be totally on. I'm not going to lie to you. It felt like they just put that, you know what, we're going to put something good out there between these two performers. But now when you look at the whole grand scheme, there's a story with that match, how they got there. WWE, unfortunately, I believe, didn't really explain it why these two are going to butt heads, or their representative members that are going to go in there, represent Judgment Day, represent LWO, because the main event tonight is going to be Rey Mysterio versus Damian Priest. That's another LWO Judgment Day because of the Carlito collection. Carlito is the common denominator in all the situation where Carlito's backstabbing. He jumped from here to there. He didn't like Santo Escobar. Escobar went away from LWO and did a new reform Legado Fantasma. That's going. Now Carlito broken up now from the LWO, attack Dragon Lee. So Carlito, wherever he goes, he's like a destroyer of groups, and this is where maybe something here where Finn and Dragon Lee now, they're going to have a match where I really enjoyed this match. This is a match where Dragon Lee in the NXT run that he had, a short, brief one, he excelled so much that got him on the main roster. They call Dragon Lee the future of luchador, lucha libre wrestling, and it shows with his moves, his onslaught. One thing is, what's hurting Dragon Lee, in my opinion, is being in the LWO. I think he would have been better off as a loner, going up on the ranks and growing there. Right now, for me personally, and listen, I'm from the Latino descent. To me, LWO is not hitting for me. I think the biggest mistake they did was have Santo Escobar as a babyface from the very beginning. I think Escobar should have came up with Cruz del Toro, and even if it was Selena or Electra, whichever way they wanted to go, I think they needed them to be heel from the very beginning. I think they needed to be heel, not the baby face. I think it hurt it, and it hurt the LWO, reborning the LWO. I understand with the nostalgia with Eddie Guerrero, with Juventud Guerrera, Rey Mysterio, the group that happened in the late 90s, in the early 2000s. It's not hitting these times. It doesn't feel special, but I understand what they're doing. And for Dragon Lee to have that match and the way, and I remember I was doing the watch along, and I was telling my partners on the watch along, the crew, I said, you know what? There's a way of protecting Dragon Lee to go over with not going over. And the way they did, I love the finish. Dragon Lee was on a fire. Now comes Carlito in to interact, then JD McDonough, and Dragon Lee takes out 2 out of the 3 members, but it wasn't enough to get Finn, where Finn hits the coup de grace and gets the victory on Dragon Lee. Clean victory in that, yes indeed, but it protected because he had looked it so well. Dragon Lee taking out those other members. Then after the match, Judgment Day fully attacks. Out comes Braun Strowman, Rey Mysterio, so forth. You get the shenanigans, the back and forth. Dominik Mysterio comes out, and it just, you see Braun Strowman's going to attack Dominik, and Liv just heads out of nowhere and stops the monster right in his tracks from attacking Dominik Mysterio. Kind of like what Rhea did to help protect Dominik, and now Liv did that. It was a weird, interesting aspect there where they go with that. There's still more storytelling where it's gonna bleed over through the rest of the night. Personally, the match was a hell of a match between these two guys. Nothing Baki, nothing wonky. It was a real good match that you could have easily put that on another. Actually, no, it's not a premium live event. You could have said it's a premium live. It was quality for a premium live event, but it was perfect for a Monday Night Raw where you gave the people in Hershey, Pennsylvania a good match. And the story out of this is there's still more interchange, more bad blood between the LWO and with Judgment Day, and Braun Strowman now is a player in all this because Braun wants his hands. We saw him interfere last week, with the steel cage match, going out there, wants a piece of JD McDonough. He's becoming a problem to Judgment Day, where he's interfering in Judgment Day's business, and he's not aligned with LWO, but he's coming out wherever Judgment Day sticks their nose in the group because he just wants to get their hands on. He's kind of saving grace for them coming out there and running around and chasing them. But it's interesting that with every Kong, there's always a beautiful blonde to stop the beast. So that's the storyline there. There's going to tell more. There's going to be more to this. And we move on to the next part of it. I thought this was good. The Braun Strowman, I'm feeling it as being a little too overplayed because he doesn't look good out there. Although they're gonna telling a story, he has a bum leg and so forth. But when he comes out, he doesn't look good. He does not. He looks too. I don't know. He looks kind of. He's a little bit out of shape. The way he comes out. Even when he did the train there that cost the Becky Lynch. The cage to hit Becky Lynch, he didn't look too crisp, it didn't look too sharp, and coming out again still, that's my one critique of that, in my opinion on that. But all in all, that was a good statement with some storytelling and some let's see where it goes. Except, the only one I like, Braun. Then we get the Alpha Academy, another storyline that gets better and better to another level, of course, with Sami Zayn comes out, and Alpha Academy delivers a message. He's talking about, Chad Gable breaking a promo in the middle of the ring. Out comes Maxine with a note with Tozawa and Otis. And, of course, Sami Zayn delivering the speech of being a liberator of group. Again, where do we see that from? It's like another version of a bloodline where he's telling Jey Uso to get away, Roman is not respecting you. Stand up for yourself against this tirade or dictator or this egotistic leader. And he's kind of the same thing here when it comes to Otis, but we seen Maxine, and then you see Gable comes out, attacks him, and Otis is conflicted. Doesn't know. You hear the crowd wants Otis to turn on Gable, but he nails Sami Zayn. Although Maxine gets knocked off the apron with a bad ankle, Tozawa gets injured, where then Otis is conflicted, which way should I go? Should I turn to the dark side or should I go to the light? And Otis walks away with taking Tozawa and Maxine on his shoulders, pretty much carrying him out like a big old camel, and walks right out, where Gable continues to turn the heel, and all is leading to a match down at Clash of the Castle for the Intercontinental title. Now, a lot of people are speculating, and it's reported out there that Chad Gable's contract is expired this Friday. This upcoming Friday at SmackDown, he is expired. He's a free agent. Where they're booking him to a match at Clash of the Castle, that's telling me they have a contract set for him. Is he going to resign or not? I don't know. Maybe they'll do what they do with Drew McIntyre. Remember, McIntyre was set to expire around WrestleMania, right? And he got the world title briefly for a minute or whatever the case it was. But he still resigned. He was a lucrative where you saw Rock deliver the gift, the sword, and all that stuff. Will Gable sign with the WWE? I think so. I don't think Gable goes anywhere. I think Gable resigns with the WWE. Personally, I don't. I think he's not going anywhere. Yeah, I'd be shocked especially if they announcing this match. They already announced the match. WWE doesn't announce something, then they'll take it back. Then are they going to put Otis in the spot or mystery opponent? I don't think they'll do that personally. Although you never know with WWE with Gable's last minute. Somebody comes up with a more lucrative offer, All Elite Wrestling, whatever the case is, and he'll go. Never say never in the world of wrestling. I thought that segment was pretty good. I thought that segment touched the hearts, the strings of the conflicting Otis fans, wanting him to turn, not wanting him to turn, to see his expression on his face. Do I turn? Do I stay with Gable? Gable's been with me through all thick and thin. And you see the conflict on Otis's face, which is the storyline here. Which way Otis will go, because will he help? Will he listen to Sami and leave the bashing of Gable, or Gable's unhinging for that obsession of becoming an Intercontinental title, and it's going to cost him his Alpha Academy? That's the storyline there. What means will he go to? Would he lose it all? An opportunity to be Intercontinental Champion, or will he risk losing all his school, his academy, just to get that Intercontinental title? And then he's going to wonder, was it worth it? That's the storyline when it comes to this, in my opinion. Okay, these are my opinions, my thoughts on the Monday Night Raw review, all the storylines coming out of these matches. And I know we might not agree on on these storylines or the aspect of it, but again, this is my point of view, and then I ask you guys, let me hear your thoughts. That's what I would love to do. We'd love to have someone come out and debate. Join me. When we go in the back, something that's been brewing for some time now is Bron Breakker continues to show why he's so irate that Pierce, he drives him onto the show here where, remember, Bron, this is a whole nother storyline. Remember, Bron wasn't selected by Raw. He was brought up as a free agent with SmackDown, then later was drafted by Monday Night Raw onto the Red brand. Now Bron feels like Pierce did not book him in the King of the Ring tournament, and Bron has a chip on his shoulder, a major, nasty chip on his shoulder. He should have been in seeing how Carmelo Hayes, because that's going to be a parallel, ladies and gentlemen. Carmelo Hayes, and Bron Breakker, their correct careers are going to be always intertwined, where one of these days you're going to see them in a WrestleMania match. They're going to be one of the faces of the company. We saw it on Stand and Deliver, and I think and they're kind of playing it on the main roster. Carmelo Hayes already had a world title match. Although you could say Bron had a world title match against Seth Rollins, but again, they're not bringing that up to light. But I digress. Bron wants a opportunity to shine. He's taking out no more squash matches. Now he picked a fight against the Speed champion, a formidable opponent in Ricochet. We saw him. He took him out last week, interfered in his match. Now it sets up where Ricochet is a little hurt with his ribs. They're telling the story that he's not 100%, although medically cleared. Ilya Dragunov interjects here. Where do we see that? With the Trick Williams and Ilya saying not to wrestle, not to be 100%. I want to make sure you're 100%. And no, they're going to have this match where I thought Bron was going to really destroy Ricochet in an impressive back and forth where Bron took some shots and Ricochet got some offensive in. We saw the different contract of style of the high flyer and the speed. And Bron, again, don't fool you where he's a powerhouse, but also could bring speed and athleticism. I mean, from that impressive Frankensteiner, what I've been saying, he learned it from his uncle, Scott Steiner. He actually, when he went up for that Frankensteiner, he actually pointed up and kind of showboated it when he did it, which I'm like, Bron, whoa, you never usually do that. I'm anyone that watches me, I'm a big, huge Bron Breakker fan, a huge mark. I mean, the kid, I wish the kid, I was like, I call him, actually, I goof around as like one of my sons. So much I love Bron Breakker. I mean, from meeting him at Performance Center and stuff, I'm a big Bron Breakker fan. So I'm going to be a little biased here. Bron, just cut Ricochet in half with that spear. Bron continues to show us why he's the future of not just the WWE and Raw, but in professional wrestling with his power. I know some people want to say, oh, that's another Goldberg. You need to take that stigma out of him or that stereotype and watch this kid wrestle. Goldberg never will hit the ropes the way Bron hits the ropes at 23 miles per hour. The power slam and the power, and wait until, and he's done it in NXT. He won his NXT title from Tommaso Ciampa with the Steiner Recliner. The guy even could do the Steiner Recliner, the powerbomb, jackhammer powerbomb, the jackhammer slam. The kid has the it factor, and he's getting better on the promo. Right now, the heel run is working great. I know they started him as a babyface in NXT, then the heel turn happened in NXT, and now he's a heel here on the main roster. Bron Breakker is the real deal. You have to give him time, and you have to take that stereotype away from Goldberg and all the other wrestlers. He could borrow some of the onslaughts from them. One thing, borrow a little bit from the Ultimate Warrior, borrow from this and there. The powerhouse is a wrestler, but the kid could go. And I really enjoyed it. We saw backstage where Carlito, R-Truth, giving Carlito advice about the Judgment Day, which was, the comedy with R-Truth. He's a national treasure, and Miz is like, the best time. This is the best time. We're tag team champions. So R-Truth, and hopefully we'll see them next week in action. They're going to be in Toledo, Ohio, pretty much where The Miz is from, his home state. We'll see Hopley there. We also saw the backstage where Otis, Maxine, Tozawa, and then Chad comes out and says he was impressed with their display, with their in-character work. And I don't know if he's trying to, he knows that he's belittling them and not losing them, so he's acting delusional to say that they're still with the team and kind of losing his mind, thinking. And Maxine says, no, I'm really hurt. And Cesaro says, I'm injured, coach. Oh, you guys staying in character. I love it. You know, Gable is a little bit unhinged. We don't know if it's because he's obsessed with the title. Again, storytelling 101, storytelling, you know, to Gable's growth as a heel, in my opinion. All right, we move on here. Before we go to a commercial break. You see the women tag team champions come out. You see walking in the back. We see Jade and Bianca walking. I mean, the sight is wonderful. You also see, and it's not quite the same order, guys, but I'm just giving you my remembering of Monday Night Raw. I also saw in the back was Chad Gable talking to the Creed brothers. A lot of talking backstage stuff. A lot of little tidbits. We've seen in the past Sonya Deville interjecting, talking here. We saw Sonya Deville talking to Natalie. We saw her talking to Natalya. Also talking to the Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. So there's a lot of back and forth. Sonya Deville is up to something. We'll talk about that in a second when they go to commercial break, because the next match is Natalya is in the ring taking on the newcomer from NXT, a person that I've seen her grow up in front of my eyes from Level Up all the way now to her first match on Monday Night Raw, Kiana James. Now, a lot of people, the IWC, and this is one thing that bothers me, I feel, and this is my opinion, the IWC is very sexist. When it comes to the women's wrestlers, if they're not in the main picture, if they are not in the main scene when it comes to world title, or if they don't look a certain way, voluptuous or yada yada, they feel like the match has nothing, no investment. Oh, this is another. Oh, see, no pop. Can we give the ladies an opportunity to make her name right now? You know, this is Kiana James' first match. Natalya's a veteran, which I thought this was a match for the female match, a hell of another match. Kiana James' introduction to Raw was phenomenal. You put her in with the most safest wrestler that's going to make you look like $1 million in Natalya, where her weight is worth in gold. I understand some people say, you know, Natalya, I mean, she's jobbing out there. She's serving a purpose. She's a ring general that's going to make the wrestler look good, where they could learn how to be a ring general in their debut and further in their wrestling career. And Natalya was going to be a free agent, and there's speculation that she might test TNA, might go out somewhere else to check, you know, to fulfill and maybe lack of not a confidence, where she wants to see she can make it outside of the WWE. If she thinks she's being unappreciative in the WWE because they're not really that much of a title run, not much of a push, yada yada, all that, etc. I don't know if Natalya. I'm right now, personally, if you ask me right now, I'm 60-40. 60 she stays with the WWE, 40% she leaves the WWE right now. But remember, her husband, Tyson Kidd, is a producer with the WWE, pretty much instructor. Natalya has an instructor school. She prepares a lot of wrestlers like Moose and others. She has that wrestling school. She in Tampa, and folks were giving what she learned from her heritage, her bloodline, from Stu Hart, you know, all the way down to her father, her uncles, and she's out there giving it back to the wrestling world, to the wrestling generation, where now, again, Natalya is very, very important in the wrestling culture, in the wrestling landscape for any company, right? You know, she works with everyone. So that would be an asset if you're WWE to keep her, because, again, she's worth more weight than gold, in my opinion. In a hell of a match here where Natalya helped her tell this match, where Kiana used her athleticism, where Natalya is going to help her hone her skill, where she picks, where actually, when we're surprised, Kiana James picks up the victory. A pretty quick match, not too long. It was to the point. She came out, and it wasn't a squash match either. Natalya got some offensive in, but we saw Kiana showcase her athleticism, and they got to the point. It wasn't overdrawn, because remember, the crowd tends to sit on their hands and tend to wander off and be a little bit chauvinistic when it comes to women wrestling. Again, if it's not the where you're gonna see the voluptuous type of women there, or the blonde that's gonna be like, ooh, they tend to stray away. Case in point, when you see one of the best tag teams out there, Kiana, Kate Carter, and Katana, Kate and Katana, they tend to start yawning where these ladies are doing athletic moves. They work as a tag team. They do a lot of tag team moves together, and yet the crowd don't give them a chance, or they boo because they don't check the boxes of the eye test or the lust factor. And that's one thing that I kind of dislike when it comes to the wrestling. View these women for the skill set that they're giving, the match they're putting on, and then do this. But immediately they come out, that's the woman, and they already tuned out. And I wish the wrestling community will be a little chauvinistic when it comes to that. It's just my opinion. That's my opinion, my observation. I know a lot of people disagree and might not like what I say, but I feel that way. Because what does the lady's done to you think it sucks? I mean, she's just because she walks out an introduction, they're already stereotyped and have an opinion on the match without seeing it. This match was really good. And this was a good match. It gave you that veteran teaching the young newbie. Newbie makes a victory on a veteran, on a good wrestler, and it wasn't long and it wasn't too short. I thought it hit the perfect screws there. We get to a match that was made up, Braun Strowman versus Carlito, where actually Damian Priest tells Carlito to take care of that Braun Strowman situation. You want to be part of the Judgment Day? I need you to take care of this Braun Strowman issue. Go out there, because we saw Braun interfering, getting his nose into business earlier. Remember that match with Finn and Dragon Lee, where all that commotion, where Liv came out, all that good stuff. But out comes now. Here's a good one. Strowman defeats Carlito. I'm not even going to go into it because I thought, again, I'm not feeling Braun Strowman's return to the WWE. I think he's not moving the way he's supposed to be moving. People say, well, they're booking him like a typical big man. That's fine, but he doesn't look like he can even walk. I don't know if it's storyline or what the case was. It felt like a glorified squash of Carlito, where Carlito, again, his return back here to the WWE, it was great to see him at Backlash. I think they should have left it there. Him back at Backlash, come out, hey, they went Puerto Rico, nice nostalgia return. Hey, it was great. The one-off, I think it should have been a much better one-off, and it could have left Carlito. I didn't see much. I don't see this go around with Carlito being anything glorious. Even from his introduction music, I think it stinks. And it's a shame because Carlito is, I'm Puerto Rican. I want to see him do well. I'm proud and happy that Damian is a champion. I want to see Carlito do well. I want to see Selena Vega do well. But I'm gonna call it as it is. It's Carlito. It's not hitting. It's not working with Carlito. And it's a shame. It's a shame because he is such a great talent. I don't know if it's him. He seemed like he's disinterested. It just says I need a paycheck. That's what it seems like. I digress with that. Braun Strowman, again, he gets beat up, though. After the match, they take him out. I mean, my goodness, with chair shots after chair shots after chair shots after chair shots after chair shots. Maybe they're going to write Braun off the TV for a little bit because of the beat down that he had on his knee, because he was already laboring gingerly on it. Maybe because he's not moving well. Maybe there is an angle that they need to put and keep him off TV for a little bit. I'm not gonna spend too much time. That was the one part of Monday Night Raw. It really was like, it kind of felt like, man, now they're starting to feel a little long in the tooth. You had some good matches earlier. You had some hell of a promo with Gable. You have storylines. You have all this other good stuff, and then that match kind of was like, and now it's getting a little long in the tooth. Like, that's the first time, be honest with you, I'm going to be totally honest with you, I said, what time is it? That's the first time I actually asked for time there, and yeah. But then we saw in the back, Natalya is fed up. She's very irate. She's tired. Sonya Deville says, we need to talk. And that's interesting. Sonya's looking to make a group. I've said it many times here on the Heal the Ring podcast. I want to see managers. WWE needs managers really bad. I think we need to invest now and learn, and especially some of these wrestlers that maybe because of injury, inactivity, or who could talk on the microphone, or not the greatest with the move sets, or storytelling in the matches, or don't remember the sequence of the matches, or maybe not a safe worker. They may be the next level of managers. Look, Bobby the Brain Heenan was a wrestler. Then he got where maybe he wasn't quite built or whatever the case. He became a hell of a manager. Same thing with Mr. Fuji. Was a tag team. He later down the route became a manager. There's nothing wrong with being a manager. I think WWE needs to start building the next Paul Heymans. I've been saying it time and time again. I know Cody Rhodes mentioned that on Busted Open a couple weeks. He would like to have Arn Anderson as a manager. He would like to have a typical old-time manager for himself. You need the classic Freddie Brashley. There's always room in wrestling for that. Wrestling always borrows from its history. And one thing that the art of the wrestling business is missing is the manager, the heel manager. We ask Heyman, but Heyman is only associated to the tribal chief. Then before Lesnar, one entity. You had the Heaton family back in the day. You had Fuji had his staple. You had the Hart family. There, and I kind of wish WWE would come, not too much because you don't want to oversaturate it. You have Paul Ellering there, but he's too old. He's not great on the microphone. Some of these other women don't speak like Charlotte. It's not gonna Scarlett doesn't cut well for promo. Although I kind of want to see Scarlett wrestle more. B-Fab, I want to see her wrestle more. Not just be a valet there. I don't want her to be stereotyped as eye candy who's gonna hold up a round sign. I want her to be there, either cut promos, get in there, or be a part of the female group that could wrestle. Part of that group that's a wrestler that's going to get in there and contend for titles, for ladder matches, for Money in the Bank qualifiers, and all that stuff. I just don't want them to be there, out there for what's their purpose? Because then, when their budget cuts come, they're gonna get released. I kind of want to get invested in the ladies as managers that's my point. I kind of want to see what Sonya does and become managers. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. There, we had the women tag team match. Speaking of more women, and this part here, thank God, because they brought us back. They brought the show back after that. It's Shayna Baszler and Zoe taking on Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Now, for those that like to sit there and count Jade Cargill's move set, says, oh, she's only 5 match. She only does 5 moves. Well, I hate to say it, she did more than 5 moves here in this match. Jade and Bianca shows you week after week that this pairing, it's working, and it's working lovely. I know I heard earlier today in Busted Open, Bully and LeGrecker, again, I couldn't believe that they actually went that route, say that this women is filler, where Bianca and Jade are just filler. The tag team division don't seem like relevancy or whatever the case is to protect Jade. I'm going to beg the difference. Jaden and Bianca as tag team champions, first of all, did a hell of a match with Zoe Starks and Shayna Baszler. 2 women that if you really look at the construction or the outlook, if you were to say they're getting into a fight, Shayna Baszler is a mixed martial artist who could kick your butt with black belt in all different combat and jiu-jitsu. Zoe Starks, her background as well, with her fighting ability, if you're in a store in the street, you know that these ladies could throw down. If I got to go somewhere with some women to protect me, I'm taking Shayna and Zoe. They look like they're some badass. They look like they could kick some ass. I'm going to be honest with you. And I don't want to sound like a sexist. And when I see Jade and Bianca, I want no one fight. I don't want them getting physical. No, huh? No. If I want someone to go down with throw hands, those are these other. And to me, that's the realism to me in this fight, in this match. These ladies could, Shayna, if she wants, could snap Bianca's shoulder or on a move, or Jade. Jade is all tough and strong, but all muscles. But let her do a muscle pull where her a ligament of a muscle tends to rip. She'll be tapping out quicker than anything, no matter what. I don't care what storm you're brewing. And that's what I like about this realism. They don't tend to see that. Where that realism from Shayna Baszler in this match. I love the match went back and forth. It was a phenomenal match. The women bought it from suplexes. Jade, the double team moves that Bianca and Jade are doing together. The Chris in and out tags where Bianca is gonna get ready for the hot tag on Jade. Then Jade comes in and clears house, and then it's her turn now to try to get Bianca for the hot tag, where she's taking some bumps and some adversities in the match. They're learning how to share that responsibility, where it's no longer Bianca carrying the whole match. Jade comes in with the hot tag, do like the rest, like the many people do, count her 5 moves. Oh, they get the victory. They told the story here. This is a opponent that in Zoe and Shayna, that there could be a problem down the road. And I love how they interjected where now we had a disqualification because Isla Dawn and Alba Fire attacked the champions, where they're frustrated. Another storyline where they were NXT tag team champions. They were called up to the main roster with those titles. He lost a match to a unification bout, which made no sense. They never got a rematch. They never got an opportunity to try to get those titles back. And all they've been doing is been hiding. They've been putting catering. They've been repackaged or moved over now to to Raw. They've been, Isla tried to get on with or flirt with Nick Aldis to get some TV time. Then she got drafted over to Raw. Now they want some TV time. They want some titles. How the way they make a name themselves, get in there and interfere, which I think is going to set up for a triple threat at the Clash of the Castle. I like it because here's a triple threat match where you have the tag team champions if the WWE wanted to. And this is a foretelling sign for later down the road. If they wanted to, which I hope they don't pull the trigger, they don't get forced or they overreact, where you could take the titles off of Bianca and Jade at the Clash of the Castle. You have the favorites in Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, who are going to be pretty much, that's their neck of the woods, and they could Zoe and Shayna could take the pin. You take the titles off for the woman. That way, you could do it that way, or either way, Zoe and Shayna, and have Bianca and Jade chase or whatever the case. So if they want to go singles, but they could keep together as a friendship, they could do that as well. If they want, if don't know what creative have, don't know what they promised the ladies, maybe they don't want to do a whole tag team run. They like it for a bit, and maybe they want to do their singles run, and they feel that Jade feels like she's ready to be on her own and have that singles push. You don't know what negotiated, what goes behind it. Maybe Bianca's going to take some time off. Don't know. I like the fact that they're putting a triple threat match, because even if that case, it took 4 ladies to take down these two. If you want to go in that world of wrestling, these 2 big behemoths, these 2 glamazons, these 2 ebony glamazons. It took all these 4 women to pretty much peg them down. Storytelling. It's a storytelling because now, guess what? I want to see a triple threat match. I want to see now all these 6 competitors in the ring. Give me a 6-woman tag match. Let's go. Again, it sets up for next week or for Clash of the Castle, so forth. So you got to like that. You can't just say it was a worthless throw-in or rolling of the eyes or here's the tag team, women tag team don't make a difference. It's a filler, just placement. It wasn't, because it justify of adding now hometown women in Isla and Iba Fire to the card, while showcasing your ebony glamazonic champions, and you're gonna have another obstacle in Shayna and Zoe. Now you have 6 women in this main event, in this tag team match, in the triple threat. Now you're giving TV time, premium live event TV time, to 4 women that hasn't been on a premium live event I don't think in quite some time, or in case of Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, I believe in the WWE the first time. So I know Shayna Baszler is going to have her premium live event at Battlegrounds there at Sunday for the NXT brand. But again, Shayna now getting a little bit pushed, seeing her more on premium live events. That's a good thing. It's always a good thing. More TV time, and that's what they're doing there. Instead of poo-pooing it and criticizing it, see it for the positive. See what they're doing, building it. And let's sit back, open up a nice cold Coca-Cola and drink, and let's see how Triple H and creative plays it out before we really attack it. And just my thoughts, friends. That's all I like to say about that. In a match here where the New Day's taking on the Author of Pain. Now, there's a storyline here where Karrion Kross is trying to put some dissension, some wicked thoughts of breaking up Kofi and Xavier. Maybe Xavier and Kofi, they've been one of the longest reigning tag teams, of course, decorated tag team champions. They've done it all. King of the Ring, Kofi Mania, Xavier Woods singles competition success, as well as Kofi. I don't know if Big E's returning. I don't think Big E's returning. I think Big E's career is completely finished as just a personality on TV for the WWE, or either behind the scenes or premium kickoff, whatever. I don't think he's going to be an in-ring performer. Where you have the Authors of Pain, Akam and Razor, it hasn't really hit. I don't know if I feel like it's too many in a barrel, because they come out, these two behemoths. That's great. I like it. They're aligned with Karrion Kross. Ooh, some people say he's a snooze fest. Hasn't hit. The one thing popular of Karrion Kross, and that's why I mentioned earlier about Scarlett, is the eye candy in Scarlett. Who doesn't want to see her on the ring? I wish she would cut promos. I wish she would do something, to talk you to want to see Karrion Kross's matches. She's not doing that neither, or she's not even wrestling where you're like, ooh, at least she's kicking butt as a singles and she's a aligned with Karrion Kross. She's not now felt like a filler. And then Paul Ellering, a man past his timeline. I think Paul Ellering, he's a Hall of Famer, yes, with the Legion of Doom. Doesn't compose anything to bring into another level of wow with AOP. AOP gets the victory on New Day. Shocking. Well, of course, where Kofi was not there for Xavier's tag because he was taken out on the apron by Karrion Kross. Kofi, of course, they're playing that angle where Xavier didn't see that Kofi was ambushed and he felt like he abandoned him and he got taken out by AOP for the victory. Well, there's going to be some dissension. And is Karrion Kross going to get in the head of a lot of Woods? Will he get in his head where he might turn on Kofi? That's now storyline that's kept us intrigued for the next week or the weeks to come. When that payoff finally comes, did I enjoy it? I not really, be honest with you. It was to that one felt, instead of the women Jade and Busted Open said they were filler, this felt more like a filler. But they came out, a storyline did come out of it where will Xavier turn on his longtime friend Kofi Kingston? That's what came out of this here. AOP gets a victory. They move up in the rankings and tag team. Well, they don't have any rankings in WWE, but they get a victory, moving closer, maybe an opportunity to Truth and Miz, where maybe that's down the line, maybe for Money in the Bank or a go home show of Monday Night Raw, maybe next week or the week in Toledo, Ohio, or after the Monday after. Giving you something for a title match between those two. Only time will tell. We'll just wait to see on it before, again, I'm going to sit back and wait and enjoy what comes out of that, how they're going to tell us the story of Xavier, if he's going to turn on Kofi or not. I'm 50-50 on that, and that's intriguing. Out of a match that I didn't like that was filler, I'm intrigued on what's going to happen between these two competitors, in my opinion. All right, we get a backstage with Alba Fire and Isla Dawn with the interview talking about, there being a force, and they walk out of the arena. It's just a simple, quick interview of what they did, and then we get to the main event. Damian Priest, Rey Mysterio Jr. First of all, Rey Mysterio does a phenomenal job always in his entrance, saluting all the young kids with the Rey Mysterio mask. He made a good friend with Grandma in the front row. I mean, there was a grandma there that he was just all over, gave her hugs. She wanted to have a conversation, but he had to go. Then he gave her the T-shirt, and she was making fans. Gave that elderly lady a night to remember, more ways than one. She took a piece of Rey Mysterio home in her shirt. And, of course, she was there sniffing it in the front row. I thought that was hilarious. But that's the oohs of wrestling, right, when you make a fan. That was hilarious. But here's the match. I love it because, they say it was a non-title match, but it was a title match. So the contradiction. There was already a contradiction because they say non-title, but then during the match, commentary said, oh, we almost had a new champion. So those tensions of detail, I'm not going to go too crazy about it because we knew that Ray was not going to win this match. We knew that Priest was not going to slip on a banana peel on this Monday night, especially when he's being advertised for Clash of the Castle against Drew. His opponent, which Triple H already said it. So I wanted to see how this match was going to be told. The involvement of Judgment Day, Will LWO, the shenanigans, and all that stuff. Of course, you see the two-man battle. This match was really good. It felt like Rey Mysterio turned back the clock about 10 years. I mean, he was still moving, going off the top ropes, hitting it, the crucifix from the top ropes from Big Damian Priest. He worked like a big man on the little guy, and the little guy still, Rey. I mean, that's why he's considered one of the best in the business. I mean, Rey Mysterio continues to look phenomenal. For him to tell you retirement is nowhere near this man. This guy is just one of those legends that when you see, you pay attention to a Rey Mysterio match because you don't know when you're going to hit it. I love when Priest hit the South of Heaven for the win with the chokeslam from the top after some shenanigans, of course. After that, we get everyone jumped in. Here comes Drew McIntyre. Knocks a little bit Priest. Priest gets back up and chokeslams him through the announce table as we go off the air where Drew gets hurt. Yes, the title match between these two is getting spicier. It's getting more and more juicier. Do we see Damian right now? If Damian goes into Clash of the Castle and drops the title, he'll only have the title for 69 days. I don't know if he's going to be that transitional champion, although the super transitional champion was McIntyre. But does McIntyre get his home victory of a champion? Only time will tell. Man, that's another 50-50. I don't know. Drew McIntyre signed a lucrative contract. I don't know what was in his contract if he's going to win. I think it will be a nice nostalgic move for him to hoist that title at home in Scotland. So, and look, I'm a big Boricua. I'm a big fan of Damian Priest. He comes from my backyard in the Bronx. Maybe I'm proud of my Bronx guy. I'm proud of what he's done for what he's done, persevering in his life and stuff. But this is the wrestling business. I don't know. I like him as a champion. His presentation coming out with the title on his shoulder, he looks the part. But I know that Drew has earned a chance to hoist that title at his home. It would be a nice nostalgic move and I'm not a Drew McIntyre fan. Everyone can tell you I think he's a human melatonin machine. I think he's boring. But I think in a good nostalgic with goods for business to see the crowd in Scotland, if that's the main event, especially if that's going to be the closing match for the main event, he hoists that title up and that feel-good moment to close that pay-per-view, the way Rhea Ripley did, in Australia for Elimination Chamber. The sights and sound will be, I can't even paint it or imagine it. I think France will be like, hold my beer when it comes to Scotland. Will be like, not hold my beer, but hold my pint. Hold my scotch. No pun intended. I think they'll do a phenomenal job to serenade Drew McIntyre as the champion, in my opinion. But all in all, Monday Night Raw this week was a better Monday Night Raw. Of course, we saw the QR code that Uncle Howdy was going to take over the show, the Raw talk afterwards. And I had to get to sleep, so I did not take a look at what happened there. But I know Uncle Howdy has been teasing his return when he's coming to the WWE. If it's going to be SmackDown, NXT, it's going to be, Raw. We've seen all those QR codes, even on the 2K game and everywhere. He's coming up and taking over from the social media accounts to all the streaming platforms that the league has. I hope the sizzle is as good as the steak. There's a lot of sizzle when it comes to Uncle Howdy. But the steak, is it going to be 6 members coming out? Is it a wire 6? What are we doing here? It's going to get to the point now where another QR code, what next? I think they should have done it personally. I'm going to be honest with you. I know. I think the QR code should have waited for SummerSlam. And then start the whole program and have them debut like around right before the Halloween, right before the paper, Halloween, November, whatever the case is. Because it's spooky. It's scary. That's the season. People are into the Halloween Horror Nights, and they like to be spooked. They like to be scared. They like to be the mystery. I think that personally, I don't know I don't know if there was a rush or they need to do it now. I don't know what was the motive behind it. I would have liked it to be around that time. Have it around SummerSlam. SummerSlam is in the beginning of April. Beginning of August. I always get those 2 months back for it. I botched it. Yes, I know. I would have done it in August with the first QR code or just some tease. Then all of April, all of August there. Berlin, a little Berlin action there with some more QR codes. Monday Night Raw when in September, people are tends to start to get a little cold. People are going to start to watch more of the product. They're going to stay indoor more. You have the QR codes with the mystery, the all the pomp and circumstances, all the details, gory details, and boom, the rig reveal around Halloween time, and then you're off with the scary, spooky stuff, and you're ready to go there. That's just me. If I would have done it, but hey, either way, it's very intriguing. Look, we got my partner on the channel loves doing all the QR code hunts, all the little messages, within the messages. It's fun. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I just hope that the steak is as good as the sizzle, in my opinion. But Raw was very good. Raw, all in all, as a show, they has some premium live event matches. You have matches that would tell story, because next week you're gonna have a match now between Alpha Academy's own Otis and Sami Zayn. Will Otis loosen Sami before the Intercontinental title match? This the go home show. We'll find out what happens there. We also missed about the backstage promo where you were talking to Lyra Valkyria addressing Becky Lynch being a little exhausted and all that stuff. And then before her promo, because she's heavy accent, we're into her middle of her promo. Io Sky, who's been off the hinge, breaking things, irate, angry. And she just went and attacked Lyra, which is going to set up a rematch between these two ladies from the Queen of the Ring semifinals. Yes, please. I want to see these two ladies. They put on a banger. What is going on with Io Sky? She's becoming unhinged as well. She never got her title match rematch, and so forth. So I want to see where that goes with Io, and as well with Lyra Valkyria. Hell of a match between these two ladies. I cannot wait to see that. So Monday Night Raw set up some good matches. Of course, they're coming from Ohio. I'm pretty sure we're going to see the Awesome Truth in action. Of course, I don't know who their opponents are yet because they haven't mentioned the whole entire card of Monday Night Raw. But Monday Night Raw, to me, was a very good... if me personally, I said it last night, and I'm not going to change. I thought it was a B-plus show. There was a couple things, the Braun Strowman thing with him running and walking around with that leg. He's going to put him out of his misery. Okay, the quality of match of the AOP and New Day, but again, I'm not gonna kill it too much because the story that tells everything has a story for next week and beyond. The promos in the back, and the hidden Easter eggs in the back tells a story for other things. So I'm gonna say I enjoyed it, a B plus. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Don't forget to follow us on all our platforms. We do all the different wrestling watch-alongs. Come and join us. Let me know what your thoughts in the video highlights and so forth. And this is the Raw review. May the sports be with you. We'll talk to you later. Peace out.